Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And we are in Brindleton Bay. I feel like I haven't been here in some time. It could have just been a couple weeks ago for all I can remember because I'm always working on something, but I've never built anything on this lot. At least I don't think I have. I don't think I've built anything on this lot, so if you are not familiar with this world, this is the world that came with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, and it is heavily inspired by New England, which is where I am from, born and raised, so this place holds a very special place in my heart. I absolutely love Brindleton Bay, and originally there was the Salty Paws Saloon. That's what it is. It's a mouthful. And it used to be a bar that originally came with the pack, and I've seen a ton of people build little like seafood restaurants here, and that's pretty much what this is. This is going to be a restaurant, and I believe, now I was trying to brainstorm names with this with a few different people because I couldn't come up with anything clever, but one recommendation that I got was just like the lobster pound, because I'm from New England and you think I would know this, but essentially there is a place that they will keep the lobsters when they catch all of them to prepare them to either be like brought to restaurants or sold or whatever, and it's called a pound. So I thought the lobster pound was kind of a cute idea. I know a lot of people have done like crab shacks, which is very, very clever and works perfectly, especially with that decor sign that I put outside that kind of has like menu items on it. But I thought the lobster pound would be kind of nice, like the wharf lobster pound, because this is a wharf and you can see that there is the kind of like factory off in the distance for, I think they make like cat food, which is just really funny because obviously they're catching seafood and cats like tuna and seafood and stuff like that. Anyway, so I don't know, it's been maybe a week or two since I've done a formal voiceover. I'm just in like let's play mode. If you guys haven't noticed, I've been cranking out like 2 episodes a week of my Star Sign Legacy Challenge, and I'm also simultaneously trying to just do a very mini LP with the Werewolves pack. And as I'm recording this voiceover, I just finished filming episode 2, and let me just tell you, it is unfreaking hinged. Like that LP and werewolves in general, they're off their freaking rockers, and I was just shooketh trying to play with this freaking werewolf. So I'm just like in this really goofy mood right now because I had to just go with the flow and it was pure chaos, but I'll try to tame myself because the exterior is coming together and I love the shape of this build. I was looking at, I want to say it's kind of like a ceramic figurine that I found on Google Images. I did not save the image, unfortunately, but this is pretty much identical to it. The only thing I added was the little porch on the second story, because any seafood restaurant that I've been to, like on a pier, definitely by the ocean side, there's always a second floor with a lot of like porch space so you can actually sit and look out onto the ocean. And I thought that was definitely necessary here. There's also a faux lighthouse. Now, of course, I'm thinking this is just for show. I don't think that this building was necessarily used for anything like that, but I think it fits into the world really, really nicely. I didn't do any landscaping on this build at all because it's on the wharf itself, like it's on the dock, the pier, whatever you want to call it. So I didn't do any landscaping, but I did try to use, I think I used this exact same wood flooring. I want to say it's from the Spooky Stuff Pack, or the Spooky Day Stuff Pack? No, the Spooky Stuff Pack. That's what it is, because it was before seasons. Just saying. Anyway, I think I used this exact same flooring on the entire lot as well to try to make it blend in to the wood that is basically what this entire pier is made of. It doesn't match perfectly, but I thought it was a pretty good match considering we don't have the identical swatch in floorings or anything. I also tried a few different things with like windows on that lighthouse because it was just looking a little bit awkward, but trying to find decoration items for this was reasonably easy because we have so many things that are like ocean or beach themed. I wasn't going like tropical beach, like Sulani stuff, but there were plenty of items from Cats and Dogs and even some other packs that worked really nicely here. I also did use the tool mod just a few different times to kind of like scale things and move things around. You can see here I was trying to make this like jutting out sign a little bit smaller, and I wanted to make the decal look like it would fit, but the decal snaps to surfaces, so it made it really challenging to do, and I ended up moving it anyway because I just didn't like that there was no window there. That little jutting out piece, like in the actual figurine, I think it was a takeout window, which is super, super cute, by the way. I thought that was such a cute idea. We don't really have anything to replicate that in The Sims, so I just wanted to put a window there, and it ends up being where the hostess stand is. I don't know why I went with hostess. The host, whomever they are, the host. That is where their stand is. And I end up using 2 of them, I think, as well, just to kind of fill the space. But the exterior, I did a lot of decoration off camera as well, just because it took me so long to figure out and be comfortable with the shape. But I did place some picnic tables, and then I ended up taking some of these more so, I want to say they're kind of industrial looking, but I ended up swapping out these picnic tables with the one from Cats and Dogs. And then there's also this matching little tiny table. So I put a few out here, and I end up taking that decal and I move it because I thought this was a great idea. I used the chef station that kind of also, there's 2 versions of it. There's one that's great for just like interiors, but there's another that kind of creates a window space. So you can have like this open food area where you can order and pick up your food. I thought that was such a good idea. I was very proud of myself for even thinking about that version of the chef station, but you can see it here. This is where I'm going to put it. So it's an open window out there to this little outside seating area. Of course, your Sims won't walk up and get their food. The waitress or the waiter will go ahead and do that, but I thought it was such a cute idea. And now inside is fairly small, so I wanted there to be enough room for bathrooms, of course. There are 3 separate toilets, I will say, not separate bathrooms. There's like a combined sink area, but there are 3 separate toilets, so plenty of bathrooms to go around. Very weird thing to say. And then the host stations are right in the front. There's a bench for some Sims who are waiting for a table. And then there's, of course, the kitchen, and upstairs is going to be more seating. That's where pretty much all of it is. So it's a little bit of an odd setup because I really thought there was going to be space on this first floor to have additional seating, but I really didn't have it. And considering how small this place was, I ended up being somewhat comfortable with it because there's a huge table upstairs. I want to say that will seat 8 Sims. And then there are a few 2Zs and 3Zs and 4Zs. And then, of course, you have the picnic tables outside, which I want to say that there are 4 of them. I put one on the left-hand side of the building as well. And then there's maybe 3 of those smaller tables right near the kitchen window. So there's plenty of seating. It's not going to get like overcrowded. And when I was playtesting this build, everything worked perfectly. I was so happy. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, having the 2 host stations doesn't mean you're going to get 2 hosts. I believe unlocking additional employees, and I don't even know if hosts fall under that category, but unlocking additional employees comes with getting retail or like restaurant perks, I think it is, with Dine Out if you actually play a restaurant actively. Anyway, I don't know why I'm explaining this. There are a few decorations here too. There's a little console table here with just, I think there's a little menu stand, some business cards, and of course, themed photos, themed artworks all over the walls because this is a very, very nautical place. Goes without saying. As I mentioned, there's also this little bench so you can sit here waiting for a table in theory, of course. And I also used these decorations here. I love them from Cats and Dogs. There's a little bit of a shadow issue because I resized it and it's inside, but when I resize them and put them on the exterior, it doesn't create that shadow, which is really nice. I also put this little sign from Cottage Living because it had some fish and like vegetables and things. And I was thinking it was kind of a like welcome to the Lobster Pound sign, not really a menu sign, but I didn't use a ton of menu signs, oddly enough. I thought I would use a lot more of them. And I added these little exit signs. I added some additional like fire extinguishers, thinking that would probably be important in a restaurant. You might always want one on hand, but there's like a little tiny menu board. Maybe it has their specials, desserts or drinks or something. And then a smaller menu, the business cards, and of course the little lighthouse light that I love so much. One of my favorite objects that came with Cats and Dogs, to be completely honest with you. And then the bathroom over here, like I mentioned, there are just a couple of sinks. I think there's 3 of them. They each have their own mirror. And then there are the little soap dispensers too. And I think there's just a garbage can in here. I played around with adding some windows to the back of that build, and you'll see me do that. But I really liked the decal. I thought it really was fitting, and I couldn't find a place to use it by adding windows. So I play around with it just a little tiny bit, but I don't end up keeping it. And I also added just some like discarded garbage in the back, as you can see, and these big crates and pallets and stuff, just because we are down at the docks. And there's a dumpster. So, you know, if your Sims are feeling a little frisky after their wonderful seafood meal, they can dive for some thrills if they're feeling that spicy. That's what they can do. I thought it was just kind of a nice addition to a restaurant as well, but I was also looking for activities. Now, there is no bar on this lot. I completely overlooked adding a bar. I don't know how I did that. but it's not a requirement for a restaurant, which is probably why I did. However, if you want to add a bar, you could get rid of maybe a dining table or two upstairs, and that would be perfectly fine. You could even put it out on one of like the porches or something and get rid of some tables there. And when you do have a restaurant, if you add a bar, a mixologist will automatically come to the lot, which is great. But it wasn't a requirement for a restaurant, and therefore I didn't even think about it. But I think it would be a really good idea to add. And you can see that we're going up to the second floor. And again, this is just where all the dining tables are. And I used the chairs from the Little Campers kit because I thought that the colors looked really nautical, and they look very rustic because they're faded and kind of like painted hastily. And I thought it was perfect for the color scheme of this build. I was so pleased. I really didn't anticipate that it was going to look the way it did. I think it came out really, really cute. That's just my opinion. You can totally disagree, but I hope that you're enjoying it. But yeah, we just add a couple of tables up here. We had a few more decorations, these curtains, and that's pretty much it for the build. This is a really short one, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this one, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
On the floor, looking up, wanting more. This is so unreal.